Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a book that has changed millions of lives, Dale Carnegie's classic, How to Win Friends and Influence People. This book has been around for decades, but its advice is timeless. By the end of this video, I'm going to reveal a simple, powerful principle. A principle that most people overlook. If you apply it, it could make a massive difference in your life. Stick with me until the end, because you don't want to miss it. Imagine this. What if you could make people genuinely like you in minutes? What if you could get anyone to agree with you without feeling manipulated? And what if you knew the secrets to becoming the person everyone wants to be around? That's what this book is all about. And today, we're breaking down the key lessons in a story-like way. Carnegie wasn't always a communication expert. He started off with social anxiety and nerves. But he became fascinated with human nature. What makes people tick? What makes them trust and like others? He made it his mission to find out. He spent years experimenting with different techniques. And that's how to Win Friends and Influence People was born. The first lesson he learned was simple, but crucial. People want to feel important. Carnegie tells the story of a struggling salesman. This salesman was failing to close deals, until he changed his approach. Instead of focusing on his pitch, he focused on the customer. He asked about their life, their needs, their challenges. He showed genuine interest. And that changed everything. So, Carnegie's first principle is, be genuinely interested in other people. This isn't about faking it. People can tell when you're not sincere. It's about finding something you truly care about in them. Next comes the simplest, yet often neglected advice. It's about the power of a smile. Carnegie learned that a smile can transform interactions. He shares a story about a man who struggled with a difficult client. The client was always stern and unwelcoming. One day, the man decided to greet the client with a big smile. To his surprise, the client's demeanor softened. They had a productive meeting for the first time. The lesson here? Smile. It's a universal sign of friendliness. It makes you appear approachable. And it can disarm even the most defensive person. Moving forward, Carnegie emphasizes the importance of names. He tells the story of a famous politician. This politician was known for remembering names. He knew the names of thousands of people he met. And this gave him an incredible advantage. Why? Because a person's name is, to them, the sweetest sound. Using someone's name makes them feel valued. Carnegie's principle, remember names. Use them in conversation whenever you can. It's a small gesture that makes a big impact. Another critical lesson Carnegie shares is about listening. We all love to talk about ourselves. But Carnegie discovered that real charm lies in listening. At a dinner party, he barely spoke a word. Instead, he asked questions and listened deeply. By the end of the night, everyone thought he was incredibly charming. Even though he said very little. So, the next principle is, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. This doesn't just make you likable. It makes people feel heard and respected. Now, here's something that might surprise you. Carnegie says that you should avoid arguments at all costs. In his experience, arguments rarely end well. Even if you win, you might lose the person's goodwill. He tells a story about a dinner disagreement. Instead of arguing, his friend said, "I could be wrong. Let's explore your view." The tension evaporated. They ended the evening on a positive note. The lesson is clear. Respect other people's opinions. Never say, "You're wrong." Find common ground instead. And here's where the story gets even more interesting. Carnegie learned that admitting your mistakes is powerful. There's a story about a businessman who had a furious customer. Instead of defending himself, he admitted his error. He said, "You're right, I made a mistake." The customer's anger vanished. They became a loyal customer for years. The principle, if you're wrong, admit it quickly and emphatically. It shows humility and strength. And it builds trust. By now, you're probably seeing a pattern. These principles are simple, but they're effective. And if you want more insights like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We break down life-changing books every week. So make sure you don't miss any future content. Let's move on to another fascinating lesson from the book. Carnegie discovered the power of sincere appreciation. He used to struggle with engaging his audience during speeches. But then, he started showing genuine appreciation. He'd acknowledge their hard work, their efforts, their contributions. And suddenly, they were more receptive. The principle here: make the other person feel important. Do it sincerely. People crave appreciation. And they'll do more for you if they feel valued. Now, let's talk about the big reveal I mentioned earlier. This is a principle that many readers skip over. But it's life-changing when applied. Always begin in a friendly way. It sounds simple, but it's profound. Starting with a friendly tone changes the entire interaction. It lowers defenses and sets a positive tone. Whether you're giving feedback or negotiating a deal, begin friendly. It makes a huge difference. Carnegie shares another powerful story. A man approached a hostile crowd with kindness. Instead of facing resistance, he found support. Why? Because he began in a friendly way. This principle applies everywhere. From casual conversations to high-stakes meetings. And that's why it's one of the book's most overlooked secrets. Now, you know the key lessons from how to win friends and influence people. Principles that will help you build connections and win hearts. But remember, these lessons are only powerful when applied. Start practicing them today. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We've got more insightful book summaries coming your way. Let's keep learning and growing together. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Keep practicing these principles, and watch your relationships transform.